Alright everybody, I apologize if I cough or make some odd noises. I just came out of being a little bit sick, but I just wanted to make this video. I think there's a lot of you that are coders and have a little bit of knowledge in Blender, how to do certain simpler stuff. I think that you can do a lot more than you can actually think. So I wanted to do this video, and the video is about how to make unique characters using things you can find on the internet and how to modify them to be unique. So and I'll probably make a couple of these and separate this into kind of a series so you don't get overwhelmed in this one video. But it's relatively simple. In this first part of the video, I want to talk about where you can find some base meshes. So base mesh, as you can see, I just went here and type in Google free royalty free. Well, probably you want to get that with royalty free base mesh. But you'll get a couple of these links, and there's a ton of them. You just need to go there and look for which ones are actually free and they are royalty free, that you can just add in the credits of your game that base mesh was used by whoever made it. If you want to, some don't even need recognition, and you can use any base mesh you want. It will all depend on the style that you're looking for. So for example, free 3D here, that's a couple of them. This is a realistic one, and there's different kind of base meshes you can find. There's ArtStation, free 3D like Turbo Squid has, and Sketchfab. Cool thing about this is that you can grab something that looks similar to what you want, and then I'll show you how you can go from there to the character that you want to create. So I'm just grab one here. We're gonna try to go into and do some maybe low poly. So let's do some searching here. This one I think has that face. I don't want to deal with the face. You got a lot of detailed ones that come, and you can do a lot with those. If you're gonna go here in Sketchfab and type free base mesh and put downloadables, maybe separate it. Okay. This one seems pretty good. I want to try to find one that's more on the low poly side, because I think that will be a lot easier to work with. Oh, yeah, for example, I think maybe this one. Let's see if it's paid. Nope, just a simple low poly mesh right there. We can make a face and modify the body itself. So see, you got here Creative Commons attribution. So basically Creative Commons is it's a California law designed by artists, by a non-profit organization that works with artists and copyright things. So they created this type of license that it's for sharing and collaboration. So the thing is that you share, and then in exchange of attribution, or even sometimes you don't even have to do anything, you can just use it. They just want to share and help others get things that they otherwise would need to pay for. And here you can see there's others you can download, simpler. There's a lot of things. So let's grab this guy for example. I'm gonna show you just real quick. So you see have author, creation. So you just want to copy this, and the other sites will probably have something similar. So you just want to copy that and get the format that you want to use. I'm actually going to use FBX, just to download that. And you copy this, and what I do is I just have like a notepad document. I'll just paste those there and save that. And when I'm going to use that, just copy and paste the whole list and put it in the credits. Okay, so we got that downloaded. Let's go into Blender just have an empty project, delete everything that came with it, import FBX, and I think I already have, no, because I have. So you want to find the folder that you have it in, right? It's probably in my 3D one. And I usually save them here so you can favorite them, you can favorites, and just find it there quite easily. And you know what? I kind of forgot the name we had, so it's not now. So downloadable base mesh. So that here. So it's a zip file. We open this guy. Now base mesh. That's the one we're gonna look for. And refresh this. Base mesh model. Oh, base mesh. Here we go. Okay, so I don't think it's rigged. Maybe it is. So if it's rigged, let's check. I think it's not rigged. Doesn't seem to say it's rigged. So that's cool. But if it's rigged, you might wanna need to check some of these settings, and I can tell you like quickly. If you import it just as it is and something's wrong, so you might probably need to check this here in armature, automatic ball orientation, and ignore leafy bones, and force connect children. Sometimes, depending from the software it comes, Blender doesn't read all formats, and that's a thing with art softwares. They have their own way of doing things. So perfect. We got the base mesh guy right here. He's rather heavy on the poly count, but that's okay. So there's a lot of things you can do with this guy. Let's say you want to change its proportion a little bit. So easy peasy. You go here, go into your sculpt mode, and sculpting is like one of the easiest things you can do to modify a model. And you want to do the sculpting before you polish your model. You want to do this, get the proportions right, get all those little knickknacks in there before you go into UV wrapping and all that stuff. So something that happens here, as you can see, my model is not aligned in the center. That's why this is, the mirror is all wonked up. So I'm gonna go back to object mode and make sure my model is in the center. Then I go into edit mode, select all, move this guy right there. I'm gonna zoom in right this line here, the blue line. That's the center line. I'm gonna move that center vert right there. Align it. So now should be dead in the center. And if I go into sculpt mode, yep, should be fine. So let's do something. So you got multiple tools here, and I want you to try them out. But the tools I use most are when I'm trying to modify a mesh without actually adding anything to it, not having to add detail to it. So I use G for the grab tool, which is this one right here. I use this one here, the snake quick. It allows you, it's pretty cool to make kind of like hairs or spikes or things like that. The other tool I use is this inflate right here. This one is very nice to kind of buff up and make muscles or larger things you want it. And the cool part is it's inflating, but it's not adding mesh. It's not adding geometry. So it'll stay the same amount of geometry, which is very, very nice. Let's go back to sculpt tool. So let's say you want to make this guy a little bit more beefier. You want to make sure you put the beef where it's supposed to be also. So I'm not super awesome at how you call that, anatomy, but I've done a couple of them, so I got a vague idea. So try to maybe want to get a reference if you want to add some muscles and whatnot, so you make sure it looks good. Doing Shift F allows you to deal with the intensity, or you can just deal with it here. Strength, this is the radius, the size, and this is the power. How much is it gonna affect the mesh? So I'm gonna lower this a little bit up there, maybe a tad down here. Okay, so we did a little bit of beefing up right there. Let's say I want to make it really, really cartoony. So I want to kind of lower the beef on the legs. I'm gonna use Shift to let's call smooth out. Smoothing is here you go. So this one is smoothing. So that will just kind of remove thickness, or I would call it, well, it removes meat, so you can just kind of scrape off thickness. So we're doing a little bit cartoony. So I'm trying to get rid of too much of the realistic leg feel. There we go. That's looking a lot more cartoony now. My guy is beefier. And sometimes you might notice that it just gets kind of flattened out in some of the parts. We're gonna fix that. But as you can see, just simple tweaks, you still have the same amount of birds that you picked, but you have an entirely different character. Like if I let's bring this character again up here so we can do a contrast. Oops. So it's probably a good idea to be out of the sculpt mode. So import. You know what I did? I actually saved over it. So that's a mess up right there. That's the life of doing 3D. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna try to find this right here again, or the source, and export it again to this file right here. And I wanna do both. So I'm gonna face mesh too. Okay, let's go back to Blender, and I'm trying to bring it up. Import, not export. Jesus. Ugh, this guy. Okay, so let's put this guy next to it. So you can see he now looks a lot more cartoony. Just a few tweaks with the sculpt tool, and you got a nice cartoony base. And we can go a little bit more overboard and just, you know, and probably add more chest to it, make them more kind of hero-ish. A little bit of the back. Get that super neck going. Boom, there we go. So maybe we want to make them a little bit more stylized. The face, gonna use this grab tool and kind of squish, bring that face, that jaw line a little bit down, go like that, and maybe lower it. So now lower this a little bit so I don't go crazy with the head. Got a nice, more stylized style head, bigger jawline, forward like that, and just like that. Like I told you, you just do a little bit of practice with it, and this is just click and grab, click and brush. It's not, you know, something that you need a lot of experience to do. You just need to try it out and do some practicing with it. Okay, so let's do something. Let's go inside of this face and add just a little bit of face geometry. You can go away, thank you. We can grab this guy right here, and what we want to do is go into your frontal view, and I want to kind of grab where the eyes might go. I think that might be where the eyes would go, and I'm going to Control X eliminate the verts there. Gonna go into my edit tools. I have this loop thing right here, which is pretty cool. You can do some relaxing. If you don't have this, you go here to edit, preferences, add-ons, and just type loop. You get mesh loop tools. This is like one of the best features Blender has. It allows you to do so much things. So if you want to check that, save it, and you'll have it here. Go find it. You also can do the same, find auto mirror, and loop tools are super awesome. So with the relax, I get this kind of circular-ish feel. I want to grab it with the G and pull it in a little bit. I'm gonna go insert, grab it, pull it in a little bit on the Y, and we got a nice socket right there. So we're doing cartooning, remember? So I'm going for something that is big and a little bit exaggerated. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and deal with the mouth. What I'm gonna do is the same. X, I was gonna delete the faces. Just gonna delete that square right there. I'm gonna do relax. And I'm doing this because I want to be able to control the loops. There's there's like a more professional way of doing this, but this is an easier way I found that is more user friendly. So again, just Control X to get rid of the faces. You have to be in face mode here, and then you just use insert the eye to make these loops, make the mouth right there. And what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna hit E on the Y and insert to make the mouth. I'm gonna actually do Control X and then X, just clean that up, and faces, close that up. Now we want to switch to this right here, the line, and hold Alt down, click on the edge of the line. Is gonna get that loop in there. You see this? What we want to do is, so sometimes this is very good that you want to go inside and look. Sometimes you want to go really close and you can't see. So a little trick is, or it's not a trick, it's how you fix it, is your clip. Here in the view, you want to go to your clip and go clip start, lower it down. Now you can go like really in there. And I like to be able to do this so I can see details. So now that I can't go in so easily, what we want to do is enable this right here. It's called X-ray. Super awesome tool. So we're gonna go into our side view. We're gonna do E to extrude on the Y, and then I'm gonna use S on the Y and hit 0. It's gonna flatten it out on the Y axis and have that nice smooth flatten out. Now I'm gonna scale up a little bit, and we're gonna make an inside of the mouth. I'm gonna extrude, scale it up a little bit, extrude, rotate it a tad with the R, go like that, shoot, rotate it a little bit with the R, S to scale it down, and then we're gonna hit F, and you're gonna have this mouth area in there. Sometimes it's too big. Let me show you. It goes out because we were making it, scaling it on all axes. So now we just gotta grab that line, be in edge mode, grab that line with the Alt, holding Alt, click the line, scale on the X, and you want to probably do it if you want to. I mean, it's just on you. Scale it on the X a little bit. I like to make it narrower on the end. And we have the inside of the mouth. The cool part about making the inside of the mouth is that you can paint that certain color. You can add teeth, and we can do some blend shapes that are super easy to make, and you can have emotions on your character, and it will be like a nice low poly character. Okay, so let's go to the sculpt tool a little bit, and I want to pull this right here because right now you can see the whole socket, and technically we don't want that like that. So I'm gonna make a little bit of the bone cheek right there. Pull this back and just creating more of a shape of a face that I'm gonna use. Like I said, this is more of a trial and error type thing that you're gonna test out and just play with it, see how it goes. Let's go back to edit mode, and it's looking really good, man. So that's just for the base mesh. I think it's super awesome that we can do this. We have to be very grateful for artists that actually give you their base meshes. Something we're gonna go do is remember, if you do the add-ins, find auto mirror and select it and do some auto mirroring, and now we have the socket on the other side, and this is perfectly made. Now we can make a nose. Although it would be pretty cool just to have this guy without a nose. It's pretty creative. Let's just make a nose, just to show you how easy it is to make a nose. So the nose will pop up. It depends. If you want a whole nose with the bridge, that's pretty cool. You might want to have a small nose on the top here. That, you know, again, just play with it. But let's do kind of the normal one with the bridge here. So I like to leave a space between the upper lip, but again, that depends on you. So now I'm gonna extrude like that. See, we have this weird ass block here, but that'll be fine. We wanna select this. It's called merge vertices. We're gonna go into vertices mode. I'm gonna grab this guy and click G twice. It allows you to move alongside the edges, so we're just gonna pull it back. It'll merge with that. Same thing. Double G, pull it back. Double G, pull it back. Grab this one, go like this. I'm not gonna pull this guy's back all the way. Now pull this guy in front, pull a little bit in front, and this guy G on the Y. I'm gonna grab this guy's double G and move them a little bit in to have a little bit of that square feel. The nose. So we have a simple nose. We're basically already having a nice 2D character here. I'm gonna grab this, the face mode. I'm gonna grab this, the side. Again, we're gonna make ear. That's what I'm trying to grab. So you grab it wherever you feel the ear you want to have, and however big you want the ear to be. It doesn't have to be a specific size. I'm gonna choose these 4 squares, extrude them like that, and I'm gonna go into my edge. Remember, if you have this on, whatever you put near another bird is gonna get merged. Okay, so just be aware that you have that on in case you merge vertices you don't want to merge. Double G to move along the axis. I'm gonna grab this with the control, click, and you can just move along the line selecting. I'm gonna do a relax. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same here. Select all these guys and do a relax. I'm gonna go into my sculpt tool. Mess around with the ear a little bit there. Just give it a shape that I'm happy with. That looks like that guy from the Goonies. Anyways, so like I said, going super fast. We've hardly spent a lot of time in this, and we have a rather different model from the one that is from the base mesh. And again, there's some cleaning up to do, but you can technically just rig this guy right away, and we can probably use it. And easy way to rig is you can. So let me explain something about rigging, and it might be daunting at first, but you want to make a humanoid rig. It's super simple. You already know how to do it, you just don't know the process. So basically what you want to do is you want to create a bone, like a skeleton, and me show you something. Skeleton. Let's grab this guy right here. So I'm gonna grab this, copy this image. Actually, I think this one's nicer. So copy this image. I'm gonna use this whole thing I have here. Allows me to have references, cool stuff. You want to grab that. If you don't have it, you want to grab it. It's awesome if you're doing artwork. I like it a lot. It's called, I always forget it, Pure Ref. Awesomeness. Okay, so we got this skeleton right here, and we want to mimic this. Okay, so don't worry about all the details on the bones. We want to grab the bones that actually bend and they do something. And we're gonna group them. So following this, you shift A as you're gonna create anything. Go to your armature, single bone, and grab this guy. Let's move it down here. And I'm gonna go into edit mode with my bone. I'm gonna move my bone all the way up. If you can't see it, you wanna go here, object properties, viewport, in front. Okay, I'm gonna move this bone right here. So this bone right here is gonna be this whole area here. So this technically doesn't move. It's just you can't just move each part, so it's just one big bone. So we want to grab this. It's gonna be the big bone that is the hip. So you want to name this either root if you're using Unreal Engine, for example, or you can use other things like hip. You can use pelvis. I like to use either hip or pelvis because I'm used to it, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we got this guy right here, this bone. Now you can see it from any part because we have that turned on. You wanna enable this snapping. Go inside the options, click on volume, grab center or median, and to just allow it to I think that works like that. If not, sometimes you might want to allow rotate and scale, but you'll notice when it's necessary. So basically you grab the top part in edit mode, you extrude, and on the Z, so you hit E and Z key to extrude up. So you want to do 1 for this, and there's different ways of doing this. People like to add a lot of spine bones because they want the character to be more bendy in the center. That really depends on how you're gonna do the animation, but you at least need a pelvis bone, you need a spine, and you need a chest. I usually just do one spine and drop a chest, and that's my whole hierarchy. But if you're doing things for Unreal, for example, you want to add a second spine. And that's because how Unreal works on its own, that is not, like super necessary if you're doing something else. But Unreal Engine, it feels like it needs that extra spine. So let's just say this is the root, the pelvis. The bones are going to be named after the first bone. So you need to change them before you do a whole line of bones. We're going to change this to spine. And let's delete this one so I can show you. Grab the top one, boom, and it's going to be called spine 02. Okay? If you're using Unreal, make sure you use the Unreal naming convention. So this would be spine 001, and then spine 002, and so on. But if not, it doesn't really matter. As long as you have spine and you have chest bone. Okay, now we're gonna do the neck. And for the neck, I'm gonna click here, be on the side, kind of grab this guy right here and move it a little bit so it's right there on the neck. Perfect. Now we're gonna extrude the head. And the head, I like to point it just right there in the center of the head. Maybe if the head is a little bit forward or whatnot, that depends on how you want the skeleton to be. But as long as the bone structure is more to the center of the character, then to the spine. You don't want the bones to be here like a normal spine would be. And when you're doing models, you want it to be more to the center, aligned kind of with what it would be for the legs, for example. Alright, so we got that set up. Now we want to grab this bone and we're gonna Shift D to duplicate. I'm gonna move it here. This guy is going to be our leg, but I'm gonna give you another way of doing this. I usually don't use the hip bones, but some systems like Blender Rigify, and if you want to do rigs for animating, it's good to have a rig bone so you distribute the weight a lot better. So let's do that. Extrude, move it. So you want to grab this whole area right here. This guy is going to be called hip dot or period L, left hip. You want to name with left and right. It's important. We start with the left and we see that from the back. So left and right. It's not right, because you're making the character frontal, and if you're doing for games, most of the times you're gonna have your character, you know, from behind. Well, not so. Usually convention is left on this side. It could change. So you got your hip. Now we're gonna duplicate, Shift D, that hip, grab this corner, move it down all the way to the knee. This one is called the leg, dot L. Extrude it with the E key, drop it. This one is called the lower leg, dot L. Or you can call it knee, you can call it, I think spline is also another name. So you want to make sure also that is aligned, so go to your side view, move it in there, and make sure you align to your knee. So if you can't see where the knee is, you feel like you can't see it well, you can go here, this options, and you align wireframe. It allows you to see the loops. This guy has a lot of loops. You probably work with something with less loops, but you want to you can see a little bit where the knee is supposed to be. Knee has to be a little bit bent forward. Doesn't have to be a lot, but it needs to be a little bit bent forward, so the bone or the structure knows which way the knee is gonna bend. So now we're gonna grab this guy. We're gonna make the foot. This guy is called foot.l. And I'm gonna make the feet. This is the toes. Toes.l. Go here to the neck. Actually, let's rename this neck. And this one is supposed to be head. Forget to name those, very important. Neck, Shift D to duplicate. So you do that, you can grab just an arm, or again, you can use, you extrude here to make shoulders. L. These are also named clavicle. There we go. These are named clavicle as well. I just named it shoulder. And from here, we want to Shift D and duplicate and move this here. This is called left arm, that left. And I didn't do extrude from here because sometimes you want to keep the clavicle specific place, and the arms are not always going to be near the clavicle, and you want to put this bone right here, which is where this bone is going to rotate from. You want to put it where you want the arm to rotate from. E to extrude. This bone is going to be called lower, either lower arm, it could be forearm L. I'm not going to do the hands. Oops. Okay. Here, extrude. I'm not gonna do the fingers or not. It's the same process. You have a hand, and I'm gonna do just one finger just so you see, but you extrude from here, or just shift D, I'm sorry, to grab, make a finger. Right, you have your finger in there. Because you have this, the bone is gonna end up, or try to be in the best center position possible. Grab this bone. Shift select the hand bone. Use Control P. Control P. It'll bring the parent menu up, and I think you can right click when you have both selected. Go to parent and no, it doesn't give you that option. Okay, so you have to do Control P and give you this offset option. So it's gonna connect it to the hand. Right now it was connected to the forearm. You want to connect it to the hand, and that's how you make fingers. Now you just name this finger, index dot L, and then you can just extrude, and make as many as you want. But at least you need to have 3. You can have 4. Well, at least you need 3 for the, your finger has 2 bending points, or 3 bending points from the knuckles. And then you do the same, you kind of duplicate it and change the name and blah 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 blah. Okay, so we're gonna do that for now. But you do it for all the fingers. Make sure you keep the naming convention: index, middle finger, ring finger, pinky, it could be small finger, and thumb, and always with the .L or the -L or something. Or it could be, I think only .L or -L, but you want to make sure it's L and R for the other one. And I'm gonna show you why right now. Okay, so this guy moved. It's fine, no biggie. So you want to make sure this guy is offset to the hip. Now that we have this, let's do something before we finish the armature. In the armature options, here in the armature options, you have this one called axis. Axis is going to tell you where the bone is facing. So let's grab this for example. This is the X. So that means that when the bone is going to bend, if I rotate and select the X, so it rotates on the X, it's gonna rotate along that one, that axis. The Z is forward, so if I rotate on the Z, it's gonna rotate on that axis. See? On the Y. So now, oops, go back. Let's go here and select local. The X on the Z and on the Y. See the difference? Because local means the axis of the object itself. Global, Y is this right here is global. If I go local, X rotates like that, Z rotates like this, and Y rotates like that. So you want to make sure you turn this on, and you make sure that when you rotate, this doesn't happen, because the feet doesn't rotate on the X like that. You want it to rotate like this. So what you do is you Control R. Oops. You need to be in edit mode. Sorry. So in edit mode, you Control R. And you can rotate this guy. So you want to rotate it so the X is facing to the side. Let's fix this guy. Should be facing this way. And the same thing. The toes, they need to rotate and face that way. This guy, same thing. He needs to face where he's going to be rotating to. It's a little bit of work, but in the end, it'll make your life so much easier. Same thing. These are not rotating on the correct axis. You want to rotate down, so that's this x-axis. You rotate it. Make sure. So when you do the first bone, all the other bones are extruded. Most of the times they maintain how it's supposed to be. This one is okay. This guy seems to be okay. Yeah, so we're good. So yeah, that's what this is technically for. Now we have, let's say you finish the hand and whatnot, you have that. What you want to do is select, hit the A key to select it all, right click, and you want to do this magical thing here. It's called symmetrize. Boom. You have the bone on the other side. Let me show you what happens if you don't use the L. Leg. Wanna symmetrize? It's missing, right? That's because it doesn't know if it's left or right. So you really need to add that dot L right there. So when you do symmetrize, boom, you got this selected. So let's just go to object mode. So select the mesh, select the bones, Control P, and do automatic weights. Super simple, super fast. Go to pose mode when you select the armature, and here we go. So we got something that is not right here. So this should move the whole arm. So now you can just go to edit mode, and you see this line right here. That means it's connected to the chest. You don't want that. So what do? Select first one, select the bone you want to connect, Control P, keep offset. This, same here, Control P, keep offset. Good. Now let's go back to pose mode. If I go like this, it moves my whole arm. Just turn this wireframe off. You can see fingers, cool stuff. And if I go R on the X, it rotates on the X, rotates perfectly how we want it to be. See, the local rotate on the X, it rotates forward, and that is why we do that. Okay, so this is literally it. We got ourselves a nice model guy. So sometimes this happens. You see how it kind of opens its mouth and it's stretching all weirdly. That's the last thing I'm gonna show you. Is because you want to do some little bit of weight painting after you want to fix things. But let's say grab this guy right here, shift select and go to weight paint, select it here. And if you click on the bone holding control, you want to hold control to click on the bones, you're gonna see how much power it has. Blue, no power. Red, a ton of power. The neck has a little bit of power on the jaw area. We don't want that because the neck should not move the jaw itself, it should move the whole head, right? So if I have this moving and this has power over it, so this here, you have your tools here, just like the other pen tools, subtract, and if I start removing, you're gonna see it starts to move all the way and lose its power. Let's go back here, get rid of this. So you want to keep the neck away from the head, basically, because it's already connected, so it's gonna move correctly, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you go like this, now it has power over the whole face and it doesn't stretch. If I go like this, it can rotate normally. You can do a little bit more. You can paint more power into it just to make sure nothing else messes with it if you want to. Make sure it's only the head. Don't go too much into the neck. And you play with this. Like if you don't like it that it bends like that, then you can just subtract a little bit there and see how it moves. You add more. You play with this. This will determine how your character is gonna react to animation, so it will depend on what you want. Alright? Alright, so there you have it. We grab free mesh from the internet. This guy right here, and we turned it into our own unique character. Again, you can do so much with this. You can go crazy. For example, like if you want to have this guy, you want to give it horns. You can just go crazy and give the guy horns. And the sky's the limit, basically. So just kind of follow this rule, grab a nice mesh you want to work with, create the proportions you want, modify with the sculpting tools, and then you just there you go, sorry, you just rig it simply. That's a humanoid rig. Just follow the naming conventions, do some testing, and you can always ask me, I'll help you out. And you basically have a character. The other video I'm going to do is how to texture this guy. We're going to do multiple ways, and this should be literally enough for you to make a bunch of NPCs, your own main character, come to life. I'll also do another video how to make clothing, how to make armor, all the type of things. But seriously, it's not so hard. It's just a little bit of practice, and stay consistent and have references. You want to have references of what you want. It's very important, because you want things to look proportionate to what you're trying to envision in your head, and having references will allow you to do that super easily. Alright guys, so this is it for this simple tutorial on how to make unique characters with things you find on the internet. Make it super simple. You don't have to create them from scratch. Alright, well, hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, or write me in Discord, and I'll always be there to help you. Alright, cheers.